Johnny here for Johnny's Car Care and Reviews with the 2024 Ford Ranger behind me. This is the 315 horsepower, 400 pound-feet of torque beast. It's not the ultimate beast. It's not that 3-liter V6 twin turbo, but it is the 2.7-liter V6 twin turbo, and I'm going to be talking about the differences between this and the 2.3-liter 4-cylinder. Don't get this mistaken with the 2.7-liter 4-cylinder on the Colorado. This is Ford's 6-cylinder, not a 4-cylinder, and yes, it does make a difference, but we'll be talking all about that. You know, does 45 extra horsepower over the 2.3-liter 4-cylinder really make a big difference? Well, you'd be surprised. In regards to sound of the exhaust and engine, not really. But let's talk all about that pedal to the metal action, how we find it, and is it worth paying the extra money for that 2.7-liter V6? How much does it cost? Is it worth the extra money? Remember, we do get a ton of torque, 400 pound-feet of torque, extremely impressive. We'll also be talking about what you can do with this motor in regards to increasing that power considerably. So we know all about that here at Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. So we're going to put the pedal to the metal here on the vehicle. So please hit that like button, subscribe, turn bell notifications on to not miss out on anything. So we're test driving this. We have not bought it, but let's find out if it is something that would get on our buy list. Possibly, maybe we will buy it. So let's talk about whether it makes our buy list, all the good and all the bad. Love that vehicle right there. All the good and all the bad with Ford Ranger. So join us. Let's jump right in. All right, so welcome to the Ford Ranger 2024 here. New style and a whole new engine offered on this. It's been offered on the Bronco, and there's actually, it's odd, there's differences between this 2.7-liter and the one in the Bronco and the one in the F-150. I'm not talking about major engine differences, but I'm talking about noticeable difference when we talk about exhaust, when we talk about acceleration. Now, acceleration, of course, is different for the Ford Bronco because it's geared differently, and you've got the differentials doing their job. The Bronco is more of a low-speed off-roader than this is, because you can tell that from the differentials to the transmission, this is programmed and geared to be more of a fuel-efficient vehicle. So you've got 19 miles per gallon in the city, 23 miles per gallon on the highway. For an average, you're going to average somewhere between 20 to 22 miles per gallon in the real world, depending whether you do more city or highway. And actually, this is one of the major strong points of this vehicle, is that it is a fuel efficient truck despite being 315 horsepower, 400 pound-feet of torque, a 6-cylinder, very hard to get, or pretty much impossible to get in this truck segment, while Ford offers 2 6-cylinder twin turbo engines. You've got the 3-liter from the Ranger Raptor, and you've got this 2.7-liter V6 twin turbo, and it really is an incredible bargain if you're looking for a 6-cylinder in a mid-sized truck, because Ford isn't gonna, bleed your wallet and make you go all the way up to the Ranger Raptor to get your 6-cylinder. So Ford, huge points, really huge, strong, really strong, very, very good that you're offering a 6-cylinder at an extremely affordable price. You know, they're not getting you to pay an extra 10 grand out of pocket, or even 5 grand out of pocket for the engine that most people are gonna want. This is a winner and a first place by a long shot in the mid-size truck segment, in my opinion, because of the 6-cylinder twin turbo, not a Tacoma 6-cylinder, which in the past no longer exists, but in the past, the previous generation didn't have turbos, took up a ton of fuel, and I mean like F-150 levels of fuel consumption and more, really. But in the Tacoma, mid-size truck, so a mid-size truck using more fuel than a V8 Ford pickup, this 6-cylinder is going to be both powerful and fuel efficient. And it's proven itself in the Ford F-150. It's proven itself in the Ford Bronco, but we're gonna put the pedal to the metal. Stay tuned to find out as we give this the beans, put the pedal to the metal to show you what the exhaust sounds like. And it's surprising because it's different than the F-150 and it is different than the Ford Bronco. And that's where it's mind-boggling. You've got the same engine. So I came in with some preconceptions of this and they've all been flattened, changed. My preconceptions were I was flat out wrong. So stick with us. Stick with us. You're going to be surprised. Yeah, it blew me away. All right, so let's check this out in the bendies here. Hopefully we can get in between a little bit of traffic here. Yes, we can. Oh, the braking is fantastic. Someone's blinker was completely giving the wrong indication. Fantastic braking will save you an accident. And that is your acceleration up to highway speed. And it's great, easily visible, the speed, nice big, 2 inches of speed. Your speed is being read out in 2 inches. You've got in the bottom left corner, you've got a nice little green numbering for what you've set your cruise control at. And this is very comfortable on the highway. You can tell from the slope of the hood, you know exactly where your front end is. This isn't a hood that slopes down and you kind of lose sight of it, so it's hard to judge your distances. This is perfect to drive and spend hours in. The really strong point of the Ford Ranger is, well, the comfort. The ride is very comfortable. The suspension is more comfortable. I know it sounds crazy, but there is a huge difference between the last generation and this generation of Ford Ranger. The 2024 Ford Ranger is more comfortable. Now they have tweaked the frame. We could say it's a new frame in the sense that it has been modified to that of the Bronco, because remember, the current Bronco was a modification on the frame of the previous generation Ranger. Well, this is that Bronco frame, and the turning radius is incredible. Just like a Ford Bronco, you're going to navigate this in parking lots with great ease. You're going to drive this in all conditions with a great amount of comfort because, well, they've tuned the suspension, and this is just a better frame for comfort because it's wider as well as longer. The 2024 Ford Ranger wins when it comes to comfort. It is the category where it shines. It is very good. It's excellent. I really like the comfort of this vehicle, and I mean the whole entire category, from the suspension, which has been it's very much changed from the previous generation. Between a 2023 and a 2024 Ford Ranger, there's hands down, no questions asked, I'd jump immediately into a 2024 Ford Ranger. The comfort really makes it worth it. The suspension is better. It's taking bumps better, and I have to say it's taking the bendies better. This feels like a more solid, better handling truck. It's much better on bumps, and boy did we ever test out those bumps yesterday. Everything from potholes to train tracks to just about everything. Really took it through the bendies. So really enjoying the comfort of this vehicle. I feel very confident with it. Also, when we talk about comfort, there's also an element of security that ties in with this. And well, I've tested out, of course, Rangers out in the snow and in snowstorms. And I have to say, a Ford Ranger has Ford's intelligent four-wheel drive, so it's really quite excellent. Ford has a computing system that can play around with how much power it sends to each of the wheels, not just using the brakes to help control the vehicle when sliding, but power to the wheels helps avoid the vehicle sliding around. There we go, taking some bridge connectors, little connections between bridges that are often pretty rough. And while yes, there is a bit of noise from the suspension when we take those, the comfort is excellent. We went over some crazy speed bumps yesterday, so stay tuned to the channel, like and subscribe to not miss that, and continue watching to the end to catch as we go over at speed, about 45-50 kilometers an hour, over some really quite exaggerated speed bumps. Comfort's fantastic. The seat, even the feel of the steering wheel, and visual comfort is great too. Yes, this is a big touchscreen. It's a huge touchscreen, and in no way has it been a distraction. It's just well placed at the right angle. It's not taking the sun, you know, and there is sun. You can see in the video here, there's sun hitting my face. Last night, yesterday afternoon, driving home, there's sun coming back right through the back window, right onto the screen. Everything stayed very well. The visual was fantastic. I find there's no distractions in this vehicle. I love the screen behind the steering wheel. Now remember, this is an XLT we're driving right now. It's roughly 56,000 Canadian, and on top of it, there's the longer you wait, the lower the price this is gonna be, likely. Can't predict the future, but likely. But I don't know how many will be around. Now, we currently have 4 Ford Rangers for sale. So finally we have some for sale. You don't necessarily have to order one. And I feel that the XLT is fantastic value. It's where I would put my money. An XLT with a 6-cylinder, and you're getting a better deal than any other truck on the market, because, well, one, every other truck on the market, if they offered a 6-cylinder turbo, would have a huge premium attached to it. And there is no huge premium attached to this. It's about in the $2,000 range Canadian or US to have the 6-cylinder twin turbo, and 400 pound-feet of torque is definitely enough to get those tires spinning. Definitely enough to put a smile on your face. Let's listen to it. So a good sounding engine. Quieter exhaust than what you'd have on an F-150 with this engine, as well as a little quieter engine and exhaust than on the Bronco. But my Bronco Wildtrak, I find it a little too quiet as well. But I can't complain. It's good enough. And I'm not complaining about the 2.3 liter 4-cylinder. I just don't think the fuel economy isn't that much more if you go with the 4-cylinder. And the power on this is, on paper, it's a lot of torque, but I don't find the 2.3 underpowered in any way. Actually, the 2.3 is very surprising. It's a 4-cylinder that I found to be quite powerful. And with this twin turbo V6, it's not disappointing. Even if this had an 8, I think the only difference if this had an 8-cylinder in it, a V8, is, well, the engine and exhaust would sound different. But if you find it's not loud enough for you, this is, you could say, classy tuned. If you want more sound, just change the exhaust and you'll be more than happy. You can always add an air intake as well, because, well, an air intake certainly will give you more noise from the engine, and an exhaust will give you more noise out the back end. But I feel this is just right. It's well balanced. And it is definitely something that I can say I'd put my buy rating to. I like this a good amount. This truck easily gets, I'd say, gets the best rating you can give a mid-sized truck. So it deserves a 10 for what's out on the market now. Not a 10 in the sense that it's perfect and there's no room for improvement whatsoever. There'll always be room for improvement. We'll see that in the next generation come, 5 to 8 years from now. Not just the mid-model refresh in roughly 3 years, but in 5 to 8 years, we'll get a whole new generation, completely worked over Ford Ranger. And I'm sure there's going to be elements that will say they did make that better. But for now, this is definitely, there's just no competition. This is definitely the best mid-sized truck you can get on the market. The 6-cylinder helps, but the smoothness of the transmission, this is a very smooth 10-speed transmission. The fuel efficiency of having all this power and a 6-cylinder and coming out with better fuel economy in real world than some of those 4-cylinders. This is hands down a win for me. I am not disappointed in anything. The comfort is its huge strong point, the engine, the transmission. And when I say comfort, I mean every aspect of comfort from the suspension, the acceleration, the noise from the engine, the smoothness of the transmission. I don't know how to say, I can't be happier with this truck. Now, could it look a little beefier? Well, it definitely looks beefier than the previous generation. And if you want a beefier look, you're gonna pay a lot more money. You're gonna pay roughly, this is 56 Canadian if we round it off, and a Ranger Raptor is 83,000 to get that 3-liter V6, to get the extra torque, roughly 30 extra pound-feet of torque. You get a whole lot more horsepower out of it, but you also spend 30 grand. So if 30 grand isn't a little insignificant amount for you, this is the best Ford Ranger to buy. This is where the value's at, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. The interior of this is very, very good for the price range. It could be better. Yes, there could be leather on the doors. It could be more of a soft touch for the door paneling here. The dash could be soft touch, but visually it looks amazing, and we have to be realistic. Price versus quality. What are you paying for versus what are you getting? I think you're getting more than what most people will expect out of a mid-size truck. Now, if you haven't shopped a truck in 10 years, your impression might be very different because prices have gone up a tremendous amount. But this is why I love this truck. It doesn't, you know, it's not that full-size truck payment. It's not the full-size truck price, and it's going to be able to do a lot of full-size truck things like its towing. It has incredible towing capacity, and you can tow that with either the 4-cylinder and be happy, or the 2.7 liter V6. You're not forced into the 2.7 liter V6. I just feel it's an incredible value, price versus power and comfort. I don't know anyone who will be disappointed. And look, it's an XLT, and I have a fully electric driver's seat. I've got lane keeping, so it's going to help keep me in the lane. No, I don't have adaptive cruise control, but that's just because it's not optioned with adaptive cruise control. But fantastic, good looking vehicle, all out winner. I hope you go out and test drive one. Don't just trust the opinions of car reviewers. The only opinion that matters is your opinion. So let us know in the comments section. Please go out and test one. Let us know what your initial perception is of the vehicle from this video, and if you do get to go out and test drive one, come back and let us know in the comments section, please. We really value your comments because it's really the real world user. That's who matters, not the car reviewer. So thank you so much for watching, for supporting this small family business. Hit that like button, share the video, subscribe to help feed and dress those poodles. And until next time, I wish you all more cars and more power, and really do hope you'll join us for the next video. Thank you so much for watching. As well, we'll just continue to put the pedal to metal in the next video, so stay tuned.